You found affordable day trading. Today, 2 featured trades, and neither of them last more than 2 minutes. One of the things I really enjoy about this type of trading is you don't have to be right about the market all day, but just for a few minutes, and we'll talk about that. About 80% of the trades in this type of trading only last from 2 to 10 minutes. You've heard me say that trade selection is everything. These 2 trades today took longer for me to study and set up than they did to play out. Here's the setup for the first trade today, May 23rd, 2022. Now, we're not on the live screen yet. I just want to show you the market opened at 9:30, and the trade I'm going to do is not until about 30 minutes later, up at 9:58. The first 3 things I'm looking at to try and find a trade: what's the volatility, what's the daily trend, and how's the MACD doing down there in the bottom pane. Now, every time we take a trade, no matter what we're thinking, in a pure statistical form, our odds are 50-50. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. Now, I'll tell you, in this kind of trading, especially if you're a beginner, there's a lot of analysis paralysis. It's a very common mistake to overthink a trade, and the result is usually that you wind up going with a hunch because you feel overwhelmed with information. But the trend is your friend. Now take a look at this. The horizontal blue arrow on the screen here shows that the market at 9:58 is the same price it was when it opened at 9:30. Therefore, there is no dominant trend for the day. That's important to know because we don't want to try to swim upriver. The trend is your friend. Many people bring stock trading experience to them when they try to learn the day trading futures. Sometimes the things that work there don't work here. For example, in stock trading, buy low, sell high, you're trading for the day, the week, the month, a year, and often for years. In this type of trading, you only have to be right for just a few minutes to make a nice profit. That makes it sound really easy. Now let's look at the bottom pane for the MACD. For the last hour or more, I'll highlight this in yellow, both the red and green lines have been below the zero line. That suggests negative momentum in trading. Also, the scale on the right there, I'll highlight that in blue for you, at minus 565, that's well below the zero line. One more thing in the red circle now, the green line is above the red line, but trending down as though they might converge. And that also is a sign that the momentum, at least for the moment, is also down. One of the most frequently asked questions I get every day, multiple times, is how do I know where to put my stop limit orders? Well, let's talk about that. First thing, you have to look at the big picture. Now, you're watching this video, obviously, at some time in the future. This trade is May 23rd, 2022. So the market's been going down big time and huge 100-point swings in the Dow almost daily lately. So it's a very volatile time. And volatility has a play into what kind of trading we do and also where we might wish to place a stop-loss order. If you want to learn more about day trading the Micro Eminis, be sure and subscribe so you won't miss our new videos each week. Now let's talk about volatility and where to place our stop-loss order. I'm going to zoom in on the screen here and actually calculate how much price change there's been during each one of the candlesticks. Setting up this trade, I've explained to you why I think the next move in the market may be down, but our work is just beginning because we have to consider another very important thing. This volatility. As you can see on this chart, the volatility is rather terrific. $300 range in 28 minutes. That's at $2 a point. And remember, the candlesticks are 5 minutes wide. Obviously, a small account in this type of volatility that goes in with a fixed risk-reward ratio is probably just going to get stopped out. They're bound to fail almost. I've marked the dollar swing value on each 5-minute candlestick. 9:30 to 9:35 would be 120, and the next one, $142 swing, and so on. This brings up a very important point. Beginners often think there's just one way to trade, one setup, one way to think about a trade, and once you find it, you stick with it, rinse, wash, and repeat. But the truth is far from that fact. As you gain experience in trading, you'll figure out that many times you have to be a little creative, do something different. The simple fact is, going into a trade in this kind of volatility and expecting it not to swing more than $30 or $40 and hit your stop is very unrealistic. It's actually a little bit like playing a poker hand. You figure out how much you're willing to risk for an opportunity to win. And when you look up at these dollar amount price swings in 5 minutes, you probably suspect, and you'd be right, this is going to be a very short trade. If you're a rote beginner, you're probably going to find this hard to believe, but all these figures up on the screen right there, an experienced trader kind of sees all this. You don't stop and get out your calculator and do this. There's not enough time for that. But you learn. You get a habit. You do it over and over and over again, and it's almost automatic. It's almost time to go to the live trade now after all this talking. And before I do that, I want to make just one more point for you, and it's huge. The number one reason people blow up their accounts, they get discouraged, they lose money, and they quit in this kind of trading. And the failure rate is really very, very high. And you have to get over the fact that you can come into this trading thinking like a robot, and you just need a formula, the right technical indicators, and you can put them together and have this little magic black box that's going to print you money. Well, that's far from the truth. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of learning. You have to gather that experience, and you have to last long enough with the money you have, however much that may be, so that you can survive and actually learn how to trade this way. Okay, so it's a lot of work, a little learning curve to it, but it's so worth it. The payoff is you can take your little mouse friend and get under a shade tree or in the hammock or anywhere there's cell phone service or internet, and you'll be able to try to make a few bucks and have one heck of a lot of fun. Let's get to the trade. To open a bracket order with Tastyworks, to sell a contract, I click on the bid price, then the bracket, and then I just fill in the entry, the stop loss, and the target price, and send the order. I don't think this detail is going to be too obvious in the video, but I spent somewhere between 20 and 35 seconds trying to figure out exactly where to put my stop loss and everything. And the reason it took me so long is because the price on this NASDAQ100 is changing as I'm trying to capture it. Look down on the lower panel there. You'll see that green line, as we had talked about earlier in the red circle, is indeed going to go below that red line. That's a great sign for the trade because that's more negative momentum on the way. Okay, I just hit send on the trade. And I warned you, this is going to be fast. My stop's up there near 11,879. Look where my target is, 11,850. Remember that, 11,850. I'm short one contract at 11,861 and a half of a NASDAQ100 Micro Emini. And while I have my Tastyworks mouse up there trying to move my stop down, I lose track of the price. And before I know it, my target of 11,850, watch this, it gets hit right there. Is that a short trade or what? What can I tell you? It's like somebody snuck up on me and put money in my wallet. Lucky or good, I'll take either one. Right at the very, very beginning of the trade, I had a drawdown of $6 or $7, but no more than that during the whole thing. Here's the thing, in 31 seconds I made $23. Not life-changing money, but it certainly is mood-changing because it was a lot of fun to have a trade go good for you like this, and I hope you have that experience very soon. Now here's something just about all of us do. You go back and look at the trade after it's over. This trade right here, 16 minutes after this trade was over, and you see I got out at 11,850 accidentally, right? Well, had I not been out accidentally, this price went down to 11,785. So that would have been about another $100 I would have made on the trade. But there's a teaching moment here. I'm going to remind you of what my old friend, my good buddy Gustafson used to tell me. He would say, Donald, never rain on your own parade. The genius of hindsight. Coming up in just a few seconds, I'm going to show you the second trade in the video today. The new day trading the Micro Eminis is growing leaps and bounds. In their first 2 years, they traded 1.5 billion of these things. If you're new to day trading, perhaps new to futures trading also, the book can really give you a head start. Thousands of people have used the book, and it helps you get organized. After all, when you're learning a technical subject that has a bit of a learning curve like this, it can save you an enormous amount of wasted time and also probably a lot of money when you have a place where you know what's important, which terms to study, and which ones are not. That really speeds up the learning curve. The language in the book is pretty much like what you hear here on the channel. It's straight to the point, common sense, and you can try out the ideas. And it has all those things you expect, like how to pick a broker, the types of orders you're going to use, what the contract units are, what they cost, that kind of thing. And also talks a bit about span minimum margin and some of the other things. Making learning faster and easier is what the book's all about. And it's not a long work of academia. You don't have to be able to build a car to be able to drive one. The book's only 110 pages. It really gets to the point and separates what's important to know from what's maybe not so important to know, and that speeds up the learning. Check out the book link in the description of the text below the video. I'd appreciate that. And did I mention the book's not expensive? It only costs about as much as a pizza pie. And it'll make everybody who reads it smarter and better looking. This chart should look familiar to you because it's the same chart basically we used in the first trade. I'm still going to be trading. It's still May 23rd on 2022. And you remember I got accidentally out of that trade at 850, and I could have made more money as it went on down there. Well, I waited another 30 minutes, and this trade, I'm going to go into it at about 10:25, just like the trade we looked at a moment ago, where we made the $23.31. I'm going to be shorting one of the NASDAQ100 Micro Eminis trading at $2 a point. But it's a half hour later. Things have changed slightly. So let's go down right now and examine the MACD. When I did the earlier trade at 10 o'clock, the relative strength of the MACD, that red and green line, remember the green line went right below the red line, just about right there in the blue arrow. But now, look, both lines are still much, much farther below the zero line right now than they were a half hour earlier. That means the negative momentum is actually picked up. Just like I did in the first trade, not shown here, I entered the trade with a bracket order. I went short one contract at 10:25 a.m. I shorted the contract at 11,867.5, and as you can see, immediately the market went down about 5 points, so there's no drawdown at all on the trade. I got my Tastyworks mouse, and I'm going to move that stop down from 11,880. Before I know what's happened, I'm able to move that stop down to 11,860, and it's trading down at 11,849 right now. So my stop is down there. I've got effectively a free trade, which means I cannot lose even a penny out of my account. No stress here. If you've just joined the channel for the first time, trades don't normally happen so fast. I just grabbed my Tastyworks click and drag mouse again, moved my stop down to 11,853 3/4. And we're trading down below 11,840 right now, so the trade has really gone my way. And I pull my stop down again. This time, prices are jumping up and down really fast. I squeeze my stop in this time at 11,847.50, and I get stopped out immediately. Another trade, do you believe it? Under a minute long. Let's count the money. That was really a lot of fun. I can't remember the last time I had two trades in a row, and both were under 1 minute. That was a lot of fun. If this is your first time to the channel, I'm kind of sorry. I'm not sorry I made the money, but the trades don't usually happen quite this fast. It can be fast, but normally not quite this fast. And to prove that to you, I want you to take a look at the playlist of 10 top live trades, and you should click over there right now and look at some trades that are a little bit slower, but also profitable and fun, so I invite you to do that. I want to say Tastyworks, the broker I use on the screen, and you can get more information about Tastyworks. Look for the broker link in the text description below this video. And gosh, it sure was a lot of fun today. I hope they're going to get into doing this craziness because it's really so much fun. I'm Don Singletary. I hope every day is a payday for you. Thank you.